Hi BookTube, my name is Laura and welcome to Book Bubbler. I'm not sure what I'm going to call this yet, but I'm thinking this is going to be a series of videos called TBR unboxing. So I've mentioned before that maybe half of my TBR books, my unread stuff, is on the first level in, all the rooms of my house, and the other sort of half is downstairs in the basement in boxes. And I realized lately that I am not sure what is in the TBR boxes downstairs. So I thought it would be fun to do a little unboxing. Now I do have them loosely grouped alphabetically. This first box is A through C. I don't know what's in here exactly. Actually I know one book that's in here for sure, but otherwise I don't know what's in these anymore. I'm hoping to also do some unhauling as I go through these books. So we'll see how this goes, shall we? Yeah, okay. Also, you might see like construction trucks going past. They're doing a lot of construction work on the major road that is a block from me, and it's like nonstop all the time. So if you see massive trucks, it's normal, it's fine. There's no like crazy emergency. So I'm going to try not to look either, so reaching in. Oh, Full Moon by Jim Butcher. This is the second in the Dresden Files series, which I should probably hold these closer. Good thing I took that, clearance sticker off right on the title, Laura. I really loved the first Dresden File book when I read it, I don't know how many years ago, and I've been I was kind of slowly looking for copies of them used, clearly. But I had sort of forgotten about it. There's only so many things I can keep in my brain at a time, obviously. So I am for sure keeping this. I pulled out two. This is The Face in the Frost by John Bellairs. It's a standalone fantasy novella almost, just under 200 pages. And John Bellairs is one of my favorite childhood authors. He has, I think, 3 series featuring a sort of 10-year-old, 12-year-old boys and mysteries and ghosts and supernatural and things. And I loved all of them when I was a kid. And I think one of the reasons I loved them so much is that they all had covers done by Edward Gorey, and that between that and the Masterpiece Mystery theme song that came out in the 80s with the Gorey illustrations or animation, that's where I fell in love with him. So John Bellairs, this, I have no idea what it's about, but it's called First Class by 2 people on the back. It's just blurbs from Lynn Carter and Ursula K. Le Guin, which is pretty good. So I'm keeping this for sure. The other one I grabbed is The Lilac Bus by Maeve Binchy. I have read a couple of her novellas, her more recent novellas, A Week in Winter and A Week in Summer. Yep, and then I read Circle of Friends shortly after it first came out, so I was probably in college or something. But I really liked her writing and I liked her work, so she seems to be at a lot of library book sales and a lot of clearance things, so anytime I see one, I pick it up. So here is The Lilac Bus, which is about a lilac bus that takes a couple of people from Rathdown, a little Irish village, into, I'm just going to say Dublin, assuming it's Dublin because I don't know. But it's about people that sort of connect on this bus ride. So we'll see. Keeping that. This is a bigger one. Oh, Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. This is the 3rd in the Grisha trilogy. I have 1 and 2 in here somewhere. And I used to buy a lot more YA, I've said before, but this is one trilogy I would really actually like to read, because people have talked about it a lot, and I still see it mentioned and talked about in BookTube videos now. So I figure if it's sticking around after, I'm going to say 10 years, there must be something to it. Plus, I like the format. 2014 for this one, so yeah, maybe 10 total, maybe less, I don't know. So yeah, keeping that one. Oh, Anne Bishop, Daughter of the Blood. This is the first in the Black Jewels trilogy, which is, I believe, dark fantasy. I talk about books with a lot of my clients, and one of my clients reads mostly fantasy and science fiction, and she loves Anne Bishop and had mentioned that she really liked this series, but that it was really dark and kind of violent, and I think sexual maybe. I don't know, but it sounds interesting to me, so I'm going to keep this. I did try reading another book that she recommended to me. I don't remember the author or name. It was not something I'd ever heard of before, and I didn't like it, and I didn't tell her. That's all right. This one, oh, James Baldwin, The Fire Next Time. I bought this, I don't know how many years ago, 4 years ago, and never read it. It's slim. I should have had this on my shelves up here so I could read it earlier, but yeah, of course, keeping that. I'm sorry for the bumping too. Oh, Red Rising. Now, by Pierce Brown, who's also cute. His author photo on the back. I'm sure you guys know what he looks like, but he's cutie. Anyways, I think this is the first in a series, and I own this book, this copy. I used to have a hardcover, that's a new genre, a new kind of book, that I got rid of. I also own the audiobook, and I also own the ebook because I forget that I own this for some reason. I don't know, but within the last 6 months or so, one of the authors I follow on YouTube, Kate Kavanaugh, she started reading this book, and she was crying like, I don't know, a quarter of the way in, and she's not a big crier, and I don't know why, but I didn't expect it to be an emotional read necessarily. I thought it was just sort of YA, so I am curious to start reading this. So yeah, keeper. You can tell this is partly why I have so many unread books in my house. Oh, Jim Butcher, Grave Peril. This is, oh, the third one. That's good. So number 3. Okay, this keeps relatching. It's hard to grab books when you can't see them. Oh, Siege and Storm, which is another in that the Bardugo series, and it was, yep, Shadow and Bone. This is the first in that trilogy. Oh, A Natural History of Dragons, a memoir by Lady Trent by Marie Brennan. This is by the dragon on the cover, obviously. Fantasy, science fiction. This is the first in a series, set up like a diary, and I love epistolary stuff. And ooh, it's illustrated too. Ooh, that's kind of nice. Yeah. So yeah, looking forward to this, and I think I'm going to really like this book. I'm not a huge fan of decollages, but that's okay. That sounds really interesting and good. And I grabbed 3. Written and read by Anne Bishop. This is the same author as that Black Jewel trilogy. This series was recommended to me by my friend Nan. She said she read this book in 24 hours, which is pretty good, I think, and then read the rest of them the rest of the week. And I have seen this really talked about a lot on other channels here on YouTube. So yeah, looking forward to the first in this series. Then an advanced reader's copy of Provence 1970 by Luke Barr. So it's about Julia Child, MFK Fisher, James Beard, and the reinvention of American taste. And I like books about food and cooking. I like books set in France. I like nonfiction stuff, and I like little histories of a group of people and things. So this should be good, and it's free. I already have it. Why wouldn't I keep it? And this is A Flaw in the Blood by Stephanie Barron. I believe this is a standalone set in Windsor Castle, 1861. So sort of early to mid Victorian period. Mystery, adventure. Sounds good. Keeping it. Oh, Ghost Hunters, the Science of the Afterlife by Deborah Blum. I am really interested in spiritualism, and that is a religion, and the whole craze that swept the UK and America in the 1800s. My great-great-grandparents, I don't think it was my great-grandparents, I think it was my great-great-grandparents, were spiritualists, which is really interesting. So I'm curious to see what she's going to say about William James and the whole thing about spiritualism. I know there were a lot of fraudsters, but I'm wondering how many people really had abilities then. I don't know. I read another one of her books, and I was, it was fine, but I wasn't in love with it. Oh, Walk Two Moons by Sharon Creech. This is Winter of the Newberry, so this is middle grade. Maybe I should try reading this for middle grade March. I don't need to do another book thing in March. And by the way, aren't there like 4 or 5 big reading things in March on YouTube? It's kind of crazy. Anyways, so this girl is trying to find her missing mother. So she goes from Ohio to Idaho with her grandparents to find out where her mom went. So interesting. Keeping it. That's going to be the chorus, I think, of this entire thing. Oh, another Dresden Files book. This is Blood Rights, book 6. You can tell. Just, you know, getting them wherever. Okay, that's the top layer of books. So, Holy Blood, Holy Grail. I think I am not alone in saying that when I read the Da Vinci Code, which I absolutely inhaled in an evening, I was really interested in one of the books that was like that he based this on. So I'm curious to see eventually what these two guys will say about Christ's bloodline, which I don't know if he was a real person, which everyone's supposed to like think he is a real person. Why couldn't he have had kids just because it's not talked about? There were lots of books in the Bible that were eliminated for various reasons. So why not? I don't know. Should be interesting. City of Thieves by David Benioff. I have had this since this was released. So a long time ago, way before Game of Thrones. And it sounds interesting, like a little set in Leningrad. Sort of spies and set in a cut-off city, I believe. I don't know. Should be good. Middle grade book scavenger by Jennifer Chiaverini, or Jennifer Chambliss Bertman, excuse me. Where life is a game and books are tokens. So this should be really good too. Torchwood Exodus Code by John and Carol E. Barrowman. I was such a huge Doctor Who fan, the new series that started up with Christopher Eccleston, and loved the character of Jack Harkness. I was super into Torchwood. I still cannot get over Yanto. Oh my God. I mean, my God. Anyways, so he wrote a series of books with his sister. His parents live the next city over, at least they used to, and his sister lives like 2 cities the other direction. So she is an author and everything else, and he comes around into town sometimes. I don't know him personally. I just know of his family. And I read his autobiography, the name of which escapes me. And he had a documentary on, I think, BBC America a long time ago. And it was him coming home to visit his family. So when he was driving, I thought, I think I know that freeway. And then he was pulling up to his parents' house, and I was like, oh, my friend lived like 2 buildings down from where his parents at least used to live. That's super weird. So anyways, I am a fan of Torchwood and stuff. And actually, the next one I picked up is this is a different series, but Hollow Earth by John and Carol Barrowman. So these should both be good. This is a middle grade, and this is not signed by the authors. Catherine Coulter and J.T. Ellison, The Final Cut. My mom read this series and has read stuff by J.T. Ellison before that she really liked. So I told her, I was searching around about Ellison, found this series with Catherine Coulter, and picked them up for her. And she told me that I'm supposed to read them. So I'm going to. There should be, I think I have one of them up here somewhere. The other ones, I'm not sure. Castle Fantastic, which is a collection of adventurous fantasy short stories, edited by John DeChancy and Martin H. Greenberg. Let's see who's in here author-wise. This is from 1996. John DeChancy, Roger Zelazny, Lawrence Watt Evans, Jane Yolen, Nancy Springer, Esther Friesner, David Bischoff, John Alfred Taylor, Lawrence C. Connolly, Pamela Sargent, Earl Cabeza de Vaca, Cowhead? Mike Resnick, Linda Dunn, S.N. Dyer, Barbara Paul, George Zabrowski, Charles DeLint. So, interesting. And then this Jane Castle novel, After Dark, which I think is just a duology. Jane Castle is also Jane Ann Krentz. Castle is her paranormal sci-fi name. So, yep. Still interested. NAFTA. Oh, there it is. Riders by Jilly Cooper. This enormous doorstopper of a paperback, 632 pages. I had heard the name Jilly Cooper before as a British author of, let's say, erotic fiction. I don't know where I first heard about her, but I was reminded of her when I read Caitlin Moran's, not more anthology, her memoir. What was that called? I don't remember. Anyways, she mentioned sneaking this book and reading it when she was a kid in Wolverhampton. And I thought, oh, that's right, Jilly Cooper, I'll find this. So I have this. This is the first in the, I think, Chronicles of Rutlandshire series, which the name cracks me up. So I have this one, and I have the follow-up also, which is equally chunky and, ooh, filthy. So yeah, at some point I will read this one as well. Grabbed two. Oh, The Visitant by Megan Chance. This is a Venetian ghost story. So this one, I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about this. After she nearly ruins her family with a terrible misstep, Elena Spira is sent to Venice to escape disgrace and to atone by caring for the ailing Samuel Farber. But the crumbling and decaying Ca' Basilio Palazzo, where Samuel is ensconced, holds tragic secrets, and little does Elena know how profoundly they will impact her. Soon she begins to sense that she is being watched by something, and when Samuel begins to have hallucinations that make him violent and unpredictable, she can't deny she's in mortal danger. This sounds really good still. I like Venice. Beautiful city. Love it. I like ghost stories. Why not? Oh, Style and Manners. This is the third in a trilogy by Rory Clark. This is about his memoir of his time of Sir Charles Buckley's estate, which is in Suffolk in England. So I should have the other ones in here too. And I like diary essay type stuff a lot, so that should be really good. That's the problem. Everything I want to read right now, because it's right here. I'm just going to grab the next two, assuming. Yep, they're the other ones. So it's You've Done What, My Lord, and An English Country Manor. Come on. Let me turn this. Oh, this is an advanced reader copy of Death Money by Henry Chang. This is set in Chinatown in New York. When the body of an unidentified Asian man is found in the Harlem River, NYPD detective Jack Yu is pulled in to investigate. I don't know what number this is. I'm assuming it's either the start of a series or part of a series, but that should be interesting. Oh, Chinatown Beat. I don't know what number this is. Oh, this is number 1. So I don't know what number this is, but I have 1 and some other random number in this series I have not seen anyone talk about. Next, clearly used copy, what looks like Crazy on an Ordinary Day, a novel by Proclige. Foibles of Human Nature, Ripping Red-Eyed Tale, Heart and Soul. It was an Oprah Book Club pick. It's set in Michigan. Acclaimed playwright, essayist, and columnist Pearl Clige breaks new ground in African-American women's literature with a debut novel that sings and crackles with life-affirming energy as it moves the reader to laughter and to tears. So this sounds really good still. Here for it. Getting close to the end. Ooh, John Dixon Carr, Fire Burn. Agatha Christie liked his writing a lot, mystery writer. I don't think he has a series. I could be wrong, but I think these are all standalone mysteries. And this one, set in 1829 in London. London was wrapped in fog when Inspector John Cheviot got into a 20th century taxi. The city was still fog-bound when he got out, but the cab was a hackney coach. The year was 1829, and the murder was a safe and profitable business. There were things Cheviot remembered but he couldn't use, like how to analyze fingerprints, and things he didn't know that he could have used, like his romance with the luscious Lady Flora. and there wasn't any time to learn because Cheviot suddenly found himself pitted against the cleverest killer of his career. This sounds super good. What is wrong with me? Why haven't I read this before? Oh my God. Modern masterpiece of ancient evil. I mean, it is like, you know, teeny print and yellowed, but that sounds so good. Okay, Sarah Caldwell, Thus Was Adonis Murdered, with, of course, a lovely Edward Gorey cover. This was a present from Santa Thing, which is something Library Thing does every Christmas, like December. You can sign up if you have an account, and you pay for your own books. So you pick your own amount between $15 and I think it's $50, and where you want people to buy books from, you know, Powell's or Amazon or Book Depository, or if you want ebooks only or whatever. And then you get someone picks, like they assign someone to pick books for you, and you say like what you like, what you don't like, and then it's a surprise that gets sent to you, usually before Christmas, if not shortly afterwards. So this was one of my Santa Thing books in 2015 from Diana. The start of a series, I believe. Young Barrister, Art Lover's Holiday to Italy, Inland Revenue. Ooh, a corpse. I don't know, but sounds good. And it was free. And I still want to read it. Okay, getting close. The Passionate Brood by Margaret Campbell Barnes. A novel of Richard the Lionheart and the man who became Robin Hood. I am here for any kind of history, especially British history, and I love royal stuff too, and I really, really love Robin Hood stories. I have yet to read the actual, I think it's 13th century. Is that like the earliest / most common referred to, like that's the standard one like referred to or not? But I have yet to read that, but I have read lots of other Robin Hood books. I have seen that Robin Hood series that was out like 10 years ago with, oh God, Jonah, what's his name? I loved that series. And Richard Armitage plays Guy of Gisborne. That was really good. I loved that. Kind of cheesy, but don't care, loved it. And of course the Disney movie. And of course I had a crush on Robin Hood himself, even though he was a fox. And I wanted to be Maid Marian so bad when I was a kid. But of course I realize I am very much Madam Cluck. Like I just am. Anyways, moving on. This is The Shut Eye by Belinda Bauer. I have seen no one ever talk about this. 5 footprints are the only sign that 4-year-old Daniel Buck was ever here, and now they are all his mother has left. Desperate from hope, not getting help from police or her husband. When a woman tells her she has found a true psychic, a shut eye, she grasps at it. Maybe he can tell her what happens to her son. But when she meets the psychic, what she gets is not at all what she suspected. Shortlisted for the Crime Writers Association's Goldsboro Gold Dagger Award, a spine-tingling, edge-of-your-seat thriller from a phenomenal voice in crime fiction. This must be a standalone, I think. Yeah, I got this from my book box, which is a box I subscribed to for a while. I like to try out book boxes occasionally. I used to do it more often when they were newer, but this one, and there was one other one, the name of which escapes me, I got really good books that I had never heard of before anywhere else. This is one of them. So I don't like missing children books in general. It just doesn't appeal to me, but I will give that one a shot. Ooh, only a few left. I'm just gonna pull them out and leave them upside down. Oh, The Boy Next Door by Meg Cabot. Never read her before, but it should be interesting. Rutherford Park, a novel by Elizabeth Cook. This is set in 1913, sort of Downton Abbey-ish, but this was out before Downton Abbey. 2013, maybe around the same time. Early Downton Abbey, don't know, but just a standalone. I like big house books and things like that. Ward Number 6 and Other Stories by Anton Chekhov. I have read a few of the ones in here, but have not read all of them, so I will keep this to keep going through. And then the last two are by Colin Cotterill, The Coroner's Lunch, which is the first in the Dr. Siri Palboon mystery series set in Sri Lanka or Laos, and 33 Teeth, which is the second in the series. So here for any kind of mystery series, especially set in a an unusual to me setting. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 4, 5, 6, 7, 28, 29, 30, 40, 41, 40. That's 42 books in this bin. I am keeping all of them. I am not shocked by that. Wish I could have been like, oh yeah, I don't want to read this anymore. This sounds really stupid, but of course that's not me. Yeah, hopefully the next one I try will be a little better and I will be a little kinder to myself and my shelves. And we can maybe get rid of a few more things. So this will go back onto my shelves in the basement, and I'll pull up the next one and put that up soon. So I hope you enjoyed this rummage around and ramble. I hope you could hear me well enough. And yeah, I hope you have a good day. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Oh, and sorry for my polo shirt. I don't like polo shirts, but that's what I wear to work. And I'm going to work right now. So yeah, sorry, this is not a sartorial choice, I promise you. Okay, bye.